Okay, good evening or good morning, everyone. How's your day coming along? As usual, my name is David and I will be your host for today. Okay, so let's continue from our previous session. Okay, so in our previous session, we added 2 new character growths. Okay, but before that, let me just show you what I have done since then. Or rather, what has been changed since the last live stream session. Okay, so as you can see, okay, on the top left hand corner, okay, instead of a experience bar, now you have a experience circle, okay, which fills up the same way as the previous experience bar does, and the HP bar has been changed, okay, to be slightly slimmer. And if you notice, there is a blue bar below the HP bar, which is the mana bar or MP bar. Okay. So that means that there will be mana in the game. So if you're wondering what is the use of mana, okay, so that is what we are going to do today. We are going to make attacks use mana instead of ammunition. Okay, so this is how the new experience circle fills up. Okay, I have also removed the words LV, which represent level, and just place the number here. Okay, this is to create a more simple or simplified HUD for a better gameplay experience. Less text, more images, right? Okay, so if attacks use mana now, what happens to the quantity instead? Okay, and what happens to the weapon ops instead? Okay, don't worry, as we will get to that later. Okay, besides the addition of mana into the game, okay, stars still give you attacks or rather attack abilities. Okay, but to use those abilities, you have to use your mana. Okay, this gives us an opportunity, or rather, this allows us to introduce items such as mana orbs that will replenish your mana when collected. Okay, so let's get to doing that. Okay, so now we are going to change attacks to use quantity, from using quantity to using mana instead. Okay, so let's go to our player script. Okay, and go to our attack. And over here we do not reduce the quantity anymore. But we just check if we are using our primary or secondary weapon. Okay, we do not need to update our remaining number of shots left, as now we are changing to using mana instead. And besides that, okay, so what happens if we change to using mana instead? Okay, what happens to the weapon vault? Okay, so instead of, so when you press V, you will see your weapon vault, but since we are changing to using mana instead, okay, now the vault, okay, will be used to store items such as your potions and stuff, or rather your mana orbs or your health orbs. Okay, okay, but before I do that, let's change attack abilities to use mana instead. So we do not need to do this. Okay, so we need to add a new method to reduce our mana when attacking. So let's go to take damage. Okay, mana. Public void use mana. Okay, we will pass in a number, which is the amount that we want to use. Okay, so our current MP minus equals to mana amount Okay, and we check if our current amount of mana is less than 0. If it is, we set it as 0. Okay, and we calculate the percentage of the current mana versus the maximum mana. MP percent MP current MP divided by max MP times 100%. Okay, so now that we have this use mana method, okay, let's go back to attack. Okay, and in attack we will call the use mana method and pass in 1 for now. Okay, just for testing purposes. Okay, if this works, we will use different amount of mana, or rather different amounts of mana depending on what attack you are, which attack ability you are using. Okay, so let's test that now. If this works, every time I press the X key to attack, the mana bar should decrease. Okay, so I'm using Fireball now. So when I press the X key to attack, okay, the mana, notice that the mana has dropped to 3. Okay, but we need to make sure that the bar is showing correctly. Okay, so let's do that. It looks like the mana bar was not displaying or updating correctly just now because we have to rotate the bar to make it appear differently from the HP bar. Okay, so that means we have to create two new images for the MP bar. Okay, we need to flip them outside of Unity. Okay, because flipping them inside of Unity causes the filling of the bar to display incorrectly. Okay, so let's test now to see if the filling is correct, or rather if the updating of the mana bar is correct. Okay, so now as you can see, it is correct now. Okay, the reduction of the mana bar is displaying correctly now. Okay, so now we need to add a check to and current MP greater than 0. Okay, so we will only allow attacking if you have at least 1 MP. Okay, so 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, notice that I cannot attack anymore because I do not have any mana anymore. Okay, so now that we have that, and we have tested that reduction of the mana works. Okay, let's introduce the different amounts of mana use depending on the attack ability you are using. Okay, attack ability, mana use, or rather mana cost equals to, okay, for wave is 1, fireball is 2, and heavy wave is 3. Okay, so let's go to our weapon script. And let's add a new attribute called mana cost. Okay, default is 1. Okay, mana cost equals to constants. Okay, this will get us our mana cost. Okay, we will also remember that we mentioned about using mana, and that will change a lot of things, including weapon ops. Okay, so that is where this comes in. Instead of collecting weapon ops to replenish your attack count, okay, now collecting them will allow you to level up your attack abilities. Okay, so let's introduce weapon level, default to 1. Okay, so now that we have added levels to attack abilities, that means that every time any one of your attack ability has level up, it will increase in damage as well. Okay, increase damage equals to 0. That means that you have not leveled your attack ability yet. Okay, default to 0. Okay, we will also add another number that is used to increase the damage every time you level up. Okay, so what this does is it will store the number to increase the damage by every time you level up. So let's go to here and add one more static array. Attack ability level increment by damage equals to, okay, for wave, every time you level up it will increase its damage by 1. Okay, for fireball it will increase its damage by 2, and for heavy wave it will increase its damage by 2 as well.